everyone. This is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and look who's back, Dr. Brandon Nielsen. We actually spent this morning brainstorming about a few projects we're working on together, and we came up with some amazing information that we want to share with you today. So I'm going to kind of let him take away some of the stuff that we're going to start with because he is the doctor and he knows all the things to say that's pretty perfect. So
I wish I knew all the things, but let's start with a couple of things. One of the courses I've been working on is after I got my second doctorate, one of the biggest things you guys want to keep studying. I know Jane, you look at all those books in the back, she's always studying.
yeah.
And if you can study and continue to learn, I'm going to try to give you a couple of takeaways. But in my neuroanatomy classes that I'm taking right now, some of the cool things we're learning is about the blood-brain barrier. The blood-brain barrier, as most people think, it just protects the brain. What does it protect it from? Well, just very simple. I'm not going to go deep dive into anatomy and physiology, but it's going to help protect against foreign invaders like infection. And it not only we know that the blood-brain barrier doesn't just protect against things like infection, and what I meant to say is it doesn't just protect the brain, it also protects the spinal cord. So the central nervous system, but it also protects the peripheral nervous system. So meaning the nerves that go throughout all your body. It protects all the nervous system. And not only does it protect, but it helps maintain. A lot of people know that glucose is used in the body. It's blood sugar in the body, and you use it, but your brain uses the majority of the glucose. We also know that it's throughout the nerve. So it doesn't just protect, but it helps maintain. Well, point of this is that researchers are starting to show that when you have an unhealthy gut, you can actually have, as a bad result, a consequence. When your gut is unhealthy, your blood-brain barrier can open up, which means then that infection can get in. Other things, toxins can get into your central nervous system, into your peripheral nervous system. What happens when that goes awry is that you can get things like dementia, Alzheimer's, or you're more susceptible. So the takeaway for this week is I want you to manage three things. There are three things that I want you to manage to have a healthy gut. Again, to protect your brain and your nervous system. The three things that I'm going to recommend managing is sugar intake. Whenever people come into me, especially for brain, that type of thing, of course I'm going to put them on fats, healthy fats. What are your healthy fats? I love plant-based fats, like your avocados. Eat more avocados. Why? They're healthy. Coconut oil is an excellent, and olive oil is another one that I love to use. One tip on olive oil is you don't ever want to use olive oil for frying because it is a low smoke point and you will cause that to denature itself and it will become, actually it can cause some harm. So if you're using coconut oil, of course use it cold pressed. The other one that I'd recommend managing, so managing sugar, all right, because it is toxic, causes
and I'm
inflammation.
a sugar Nazi, like everyone knows.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. So this is, just old news. But the next one I would manage is managing stress. We've talked about stress. It's interesting enough as a chiropractor, oftentimes when you will have these upper cervical vertebrae out of alignment, the two classic things that will cause that are sugar and stress. And we all have stress. I'm not telling you to get rid of your stress. That'd be great, but we live in a society where we know we have stress. Learn how to manage your stress. We've given some tips in the past about emotional stress release active, working out. One of the best things I love to do to just unwind is go for a walk. And during that walk, all I think is how grateful I am for the many great things that I have in my life. So going on what I call a gratitude walk, it takes about 12 minutes.
I love that. Okay, let me add
Please,
one thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
managing stress.
Well, and this is along with managing stress because I just had a big thing happen this morning that was a big mistake in a manufacturing, and I think it depends on the way you look at it because I've really learned how to manage my stress simply with a lot of these things like you talk about, like go for a walk, think about how grateful you are. And a big tip that I've really learned is if I stress about it or worry about it, is it going to make it go away? So no, I still have to handle this big issue that happened. But for me to get all worked up and fly off the handle and get all stressed and make everything go crazy, like I just discovered a big thing while Dr. Nielsen was sitting here this morning.
I tested, it was very big.
And I have to now deal with it. But honestly, I don't feel stressed about it. So I think that I've learned to manage my stress, which has helped me stay healthy because you can take your body in an alkaline environment and have stress, and all of a sudden you're acidic.
Absolutely.
So managing stress is pretty important. Well, it's very important. So I just
Yeah,
want to kind of
it's
to
one of
add
the
that thing.
takeaways. I'm glad you
Yes.
did. And it was interesting. She, if I can just say a little bit how you
Yeah.
manage this. Okay, so she kind of got the news, and it's kind of like, oh my goodness. And for one split second, she worried about it, which isn't bad. And that's how
Yeah.
she managed it. She kind of worried about it, and you could see her everything rolling through her head, like all the dominoes that are going to fall because of this mistake. And then she kind of said, okay, I'll set that aside and I'll be able to actually do some things that are going to be able to
Yeah.
correct that later on. And then she moved on and we moved on and we were very productive.
Yeah.
So yeah, managing sugar, managing stress. And then the last one that I wanted to say is managing infection. This time of year is classic prone. We get, a lot of times we get less sleep. And of course, those first two things will actually help you manage infection. But you know, the great products that we use here at Barlow Herbal, phenomenal for managing infection. Again, when people tell me they never get an infection ever, like a little sniffle or anything, I get concerned because sometimes that tells me that their immune system isn't working and being able to detoxify the infection. I, manage the infection appropriately, get through it quickly using the great products that obviously Barlow Herbal has. But what does that mean as well? Managing infection. Increase, obviously, water, fluids, especially water, and getting proper rest to manage infection.
Yeah.
So just those three takeaways.
That's perfect. Yeah. So we were actually having a brainstorm this morning for some projects that we're doing together, and I said, hey, before you leave, let's make a little video and give some people some information that they can have a takeaway to help improve their health. And I know you guys know how crazy I am about sugar and how bad it is for you. And I just thought, well, this is cold and flu season. I actually have a kind of a low grade cold going on here and in my sinuses. And yeah, like I'm not, a person who never ever gets sick. I'm definitely dosing up on herbal stuff, but
And get through it quickly.
yeah,
And she'll get through it quickly.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah,
want to do is get through an
yeah,
infection quickly.
yeah.
So
And you know what? This is the last thing I would do right now would even eat a little bit of sugar.
the worst thing.
Yeah, because I think you need to look at that as poison. And if I would have dealt with this big mistake that happened this morning differently, if I'd have let my body go into full on stress, then this little bit of cold that I'm actually almost at the end of it already, it would have like full on,
Would have pounded her
it
down.
would have pounded me,
Yeah.
really. So anyway, hope you've gotten some great takeaways. The only thing that he actually said is, I'm not wearing my scrubs. I'm like, it doesn't matter. People don't care. So I hope you have an amazing weekend, and thank you for making a video with me.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care.